I'm a 58-year-old woman sitting in an airport terminal at 11 p.m., and my life is about as exciting as watching paint dry on a hangar door. Gate 47 has become my temporary office while this damn storm keeps every flight grounded. My crossword puzzle book lies open on my lap, 17 across, engine component, carburetor. Easy. That's when she walks up. Mind if I peek at your puzzle? The voice belongs to a woman, maybe 30-something, with rich brown hair escaping from a messy ponytail, and the kind of green eyes that could stop traffic. She's got soot under her fingernails, and confidence in her stride. Be my guest. I slide the book toward the empty seat beside me. Though I warn you, I'm pretty good at these. She drops into the chair with a tired sigh. Lauren Lopez. And I'm pretty good at solving problems myself. Her smile is crooked, genuine. What's 14 down? I glance at the clue. Brave soul who fights fires. Hero, she says without hesitation. Something about the way she says it makes me look at her more carefully. The faint smell of diesel fuel clings to her jacket. Her hands are strong, calloused. You would know. Oil rigs mostly. Sometimes refineries. She shrugs like walking into infernos is just another Tuesday. What about you? Let me guess, you work with your hands too. Aircraft mechanic? 37 years. I tap my pen against the page. Alexandra Ward. Alex? Alexandra. I've never liked nicknames, but something in her tone makes me reconsider. The storm outside grows louder, rattling the terminal windows. Lauren leans closer to see the puzzle, and I catch a hint of her shampoo. Something floral that doesn't match her tough exterior at all. 23 across, she murmurs. Connection between two people. I read the clue again. 7 letters. My pen hovers over the empty squares. Chemistry, Lauren suggests softly. I write it in, our shoulders touching as I lean forward. Neither of us moves away. 4 hours later, we've finished 3 puzzles, and I've learned more about this woman than I know about neighbors I've lived next to for years. She tells me about fighting fires on offshore platforms, about the rush of controlling something so destructive. I find myself describing the poetry in a perfectly tuned engine, the satisfaction of bringing dead metal back to life. Your flight's probably boarding soon, I say, checking my watch. She glances at the departure board. Delayed another hour. Good. The word slips out before I can stop it. Lauren smiles, that crooked grin that's been undoing my carefully maintained composure all night. Good, she echoes. When we finally walk toward our gates, she stops at the magazine stand. Hey, Alexandra? I turn back. If I asked for your number using crossword format, would that be too cheesy? Despite everything, I laugh. Actually laugh, for the first time in months. Try me. 10 digits. Allows connection across distances. I pull out my phone and recite the numbers slowly, watching her enter them with those strong, sure fingers. 3 days pass before she calls. I'm elbow deep in a Cessna engine when my phone buzzes against the workbench. So, I've been thinking about that crossword clue. Lauren's voice is warm through the speaker. Want to grab coffee and work on some answers? I find myself saying yes before my brain catches up. The oceanside cafe she picks is nothing fancy. Weathered wood tables and the smell of salt air mixing with espresso. She's already there when I arrive, wearing jeans and a faded t-shirt that shows off arms clearly built for heavy lifting. You clean up nice, she says, standing to pull out my chair. This is cleaned up. I gesture to my pressed khakis and button-down. I don't do fancy. Good. Neither do I. What starts as coffee becomes lunch, then stretches into the afternoon. She tells me about her crew, how they're the only thing standing between disaster and thousands of barrels of crude oil. Her eyes light up when she describes the controlled explosions they use to snuff out wellhead fires. Sounds terrifying, I admit. Says the woman who crawls inside airplane engines 40 feet off the ground. That's different. Planes want to fly. They just need someone who understands their language. She leans forward, chin resting on her palm. What do they tell you? I pause, surprised by the question. My ex-husband used to roll his eyes when I talked about aircraft like living things. They tell me where they hurt, what they need to sing again. That's beautiful. The word hangs between us and I feel heat creep up my neck. When was the last time someone called anything about me beautiful? Walk with me? She asks as we leave the cafe. The pier stretches into the Pacific, weathered planks creaking under our feet, seagulls wheel overhead, and the late afternoon sun turns everything golden. We stop at the railing, watching waves crash against the pylons below. Can I ask you something? Lauren's voice is softer now. Ask away. Are you seeing anyone? The question shouldn't surprise me, but it does. No. Divorced 3 years ago. I grip the railing tighter. You? Single. Have been for a while. She turns to face me fully. Alexandra, I need you to know something. My heart starts beating faster. What? I don't usually do this. Ask women out, I mean. But there's something about you that makes me want to take chances. Women. The word settles between us like a bridge I wasn't sure I was ready to cross, but standing here looking into those green eyes, I realize I've been thinking about nothing but her for 3 days. I don't usually take chances, I say quietly. Maybe it's time to start. She reaches for my hand and I don't pull away. Her fingers are warm, calloused from work, real in a way that makes my chest tight. Lauren. Yeah? I'm scared. Me too. The admission breaks something open in me. Before I can overthink it, I lean forward and kiss her. It's soft, tentative, tasting of coffee and possibility. When we break apart, she's smiling that crooked smile that's already becoming familiar. Was that okay? She whispers. I answer by kissing her again, deeper this time, my hand finding the back of her neck. 30 years of playing it safe, of being who everyone expected me to be, and suddenly I'm kissing a woman on a public pier and not caring who sees. When we finally separate, the sun is setting, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. This is crazy, I breathe. The best things usually are. A week later, Lauren shows up at my workshop carrying Thai takeout and wearing that grin that makes my stomach flip. Thought you might be hungry, she says, setting containers on my workbench between socket wrenches and oil-stained rags. You can't just waltz into a working hangar, I protest. But I'm already clearing space for the food. Sure I can. I'm dating the boss. Dating. The word sends a thrill through me that I'm too old to be feeling. But watching her navigate my workspace with easy confidence, asking intelligent questions about the Piper Cherokee I'm rebuilding, I realize she fits here better than anyone ever has. This is beautiful work, she says, running her fingers along the engine casing I've been restoring. How long have you been doing this? Since I was 21. Started as an apprentice, worked my way up. I hand her a wrench. Want to help? For the next hour, she follows my instructions perfectly, her hands steady and sure. When she accidentally brushes against me reaching for a bolt, neither of us moves away immediately. Alexandra. Her voice is lower now. Yeah? I need to show you something tomorrow. My work, I mean. There's a training exercise at the refinery. The invitation feels significant, like she's offering me a window into the part of her life that matters most. The next afternoon, I watch from behind safety barriers as Lauren's team conducts a controlled burn exercise. She's transformed in her gear. Focused, commanding, beautiful in a way that takes my breath away. When a practice fire erupts from a training tower, she directs foam cannons with military precision. She's the best we've got, her captain tells me. Fearless but smart. That's a rare combination in this business. Fearless. I think about my own careful, measured existence and wonder what it would be like to live with that kind of courage. After the exercise, Lauren finds me in the parking lot, still in her turnout gear, face flushed from exertion and adrenaline. What did you think? She asks. Terrifying. Impressive. I touch her cheek gently. You could have been killed out there. But I wasn't. She covers my hand with hers. This is who I am, Alexandra. I need you to know that. I'm beginning to understand. That evening, we talk on the phone until nearly midnight. She tells me about growing up with 4 brothers, how she learned early that she had to be tougher than everyone else to earn respect. I share stories I've never told anyone, about the loneliness of my marriage, how I felt invisible for years. "You're not invisible to me," she says softly through the phone. "You're the brightest thing in my world right now." The words undo me completely. "Lauren, I haven't felt this way about anyone in so long. I'd forgotten it was possible." "What way?" "Alive. Like I matter." There's silence on the line. Then, "You matter to me more than you know. I'm 58 years old." So? "So, you could have anyone. Someone younger, someone who hasn't made all the mistakes I have." "I don't want anyone else, Alexandra. I want you. Your experience, your wisdom, the way you see beauty in broken things and make them whole again." I close my eyes, phone pressed to my ear, and for the first time in years allow myself to believe that maybe, just maybe, I deserve this happiness. "Will you come over tomorrow night?" I ask before I lose my nerve. "Are you sure?" "No. But I'm tired of being careful about everything." Her laugh is warm and rich. "Then yes, I'll bring dinner." "Lauren?" "Yeah?" "Thank you." "For what?" "For seeing me." Lauren arrives at my house carrying ingredients for homemade bread of all things. "My grandmother's recipe," she explains, setting flour and yeast on my kitchen counter. "Figured we could make something together. I haven't baked bread in 15 years. "Good. Neither have I. We'll figure it out." There's something intimate about working side by side in my small kitchen, our hands bumping as we measure and mix. She's rolled up her sleeves, and I find myself distracted by the graceful strength of her forearms. "Tell me about your marriage," she says quietly as we knead the dough. The question catches me off guard. "Why?" "Because it's part of you. And I want to know all of you." I consider deflecting, but something in her tone makes me honest. We were good friends who thought that was enough. 23 years of pretending to be someone I wasn't. My hands work the dough harder. He wasn't a bad man. We just never really saw each other. "What do you mean?" "He saw the wife he wanted me to be. I saw the husband I thought I should want." I pause, flour dusting my fingers. We were both performing roles. Lauren stops kneading, studying my face. "That must have been lonely." "Incredibly." The admission comes easier than expected. I convinced myself it was normal, that passion was for young people or movies, that I was too practical for grand gestures or butterflies in my stomach. And now? I look at her directly. Now I know I was wrong. She steps closer, close enough that I can smell her shampoo again. "Alexandra, can I ask you something else?" "Always." "Have you ever been with a woman before?" My face burns. "No. I've thought about it, wondered, but never acted on it." I swallow hard. "Does that scare you off?" "The opposite." Her voice is gentle. "It makes me want to go slow. Make sure this is right for you." "What if I don't want to go slow?" The question hangs between us as the bread rises on the counter. Lauren reaches up to brush flour from my cheek, her touch lingering. "Then we won't," she whispers. I kiss her first this time, urgent and hungry in a way that surprises us both. She responds immediately, her hands finding my waist, pulling me closer until there's no space between us. The kiss deepens, and I feel something unlock inside my chest. "Alexandra," she breathes against my lips. "Don't stop." She doesn't. Her mouth moves to my neck, and I gasp at the sensation. My hands tangle in her hair as she presses me back against the kitchen counter. "Are you sure?" she asks, pulling back to search my eyes. I've never been more sure of anything. Later, in my bedroom, with afternoon light filtering through sheer curtains, she undresses me with careful reverence, her lips following the path of her hands. I've never felt so seen, so cherished. When I return the favor, exploring the landscape of her body with trembling fingers, she guides me with patience and encouragement. We move together with an intuitive rhythm that shouldn't be possible between people who've known each other less than a month. But nothing about this feels rushed or foreign. It feels like coming home to a place I never knew I was looking for. Afterward, we lie tangled in my sheets, her head on my shoulder, both of us catching our breath. The bread. She murmurs against my skin. Damn the bread. She laughs, the sound vibrating through my chest. Did Alexandra Ward just use profanity? You're a bad influence. The worst. She props herself up on one elbow, looking down at me with satisfied green eyes. Any regrets? I consider the question seriously, running my fingers through her tousled hair. Only that it took me 58 years to find you. The sound of screeching tires outside my workshop shouldn't mean anything at 7 in the morning. But when I see 3 police cruisers surrounding the building, my blood turns to ice water. Alexandra Ward? The lead officer's voice carries across the hangar as I step outside, wiping grease from my hands. We need you to come with us. What's this about? Instead of answering, he shows me a grainy security photo on his phone. A woman with blonde hair and my approximate build pointing what looks like a gun at a bank teller. Riverside First National yesterday afternoon. Witness identified you from this footage. My mouth goes dry. That's not me. I was here all day working on the Cherokee. We'll sort this out at the station. Turn around, please. The handcuffs feel surreal against my wrists. This can't be happening. I'm a 58-year-old aircraft mechanic who's never so much as shoplifted a candy bar. That's when Lauren's truck roars into the parking lot. She takes one look at the scene, and her expression hardens. What the hell is going on? Ma'am, step back, the officer warns. Alexandra? Her voice is sharp with concern. Bank robbery, I call to her, trying to keep panic out of my voice. They think I robbed a bank. Lauren's eyes widen, then narrow dangerously. That's impossible. She was with me yesterday afternoon. The officer shakes his head. The witness was very clear about the identification. I see Lauren's jaw clench, the same look she gets when facing down an oil fire. She's calculating, planning. This is insane. She wouldn't hurt a fly. As they start walking me toward the patrol car, I catch Lauren's eye. Something passes between us, an understanding that doesn't need words. She nods almost imperceptibly. Lauren, don't do anything stupid, I warn. But she's already moving, using the distraction of my arrest to slip around the back of the building. The officers are focused on me, reading rights I can barely hear over the blood rushing in my ears. Then chaos erupts. Lauren appears at the workshop's rear exit, gesturing frantically. Alexandra, run! The back door I always leave unlocked. Of course she remembers. Everything happens in slow motion. The officers shout, reaching for their radios. Lauren grabs my hand as I break free from their grip, the handcuffs still dangling from one wrist. We sprint across the tarmac toward her truck. This is crazy, I pant as we reach the vehicle. Sometimes crazy is the only sane option. She starts the engine before I've even closed the door. Gravel sprays as we tear out of the parking lot, police sirens already wailing behind us. Lauren, what have you done? I stare at her in the passenger seat, heart hammering. You just helped a suspected felon escape. You're not a felon, and I'm not letting them railroad you for something you didn't do. The sirens are getting closer. Lauren takes a hard right onto a side road I didn't even know existed, her firefighter training kicking in as she navigates emergency situations. Where are we going? Away from here. We'll figure out the rest later. I look back to see flashing lights growing distant. They'll put out an APB. Our pictures will be on every news station by tonight. Then we better stay ahead of them. Lauren reaches over and squeezes my hand, her fingers steady despite the circumstances. Hey, look at me. I turn to face her. We're going to figure this out, okay? I believe you, and we're going to prove your innocence. Why? The question comes out broken. Why are you doing this for me? She doesn't take her eyes off the road, but her grip on my hand tightens. Because I love you, Alexandra. And people in love do stupid, brave things for each other. The words hit me like a physical blow. Love. In the middle of this nightmare, she's telling me she loves me. I love you too, I whisper. Good. Then we're in this together. Behind us, Oceanside disappears in the rearview mirror, along with my workshop, my orderly life, everything I've built over nearly 6 decades. But looking at Lauren's determined profile, I realize I'd rather be a fugitive with her than innocent without her. The Desert Rose Motel looks like it hasn't been updated since 1975, which makes it perfect for 2 women trying to stay invisible. Lauren pays cash for a room at the far end, away from the highway noise and prying eyes. 1 bed, she says apologetically, closing the door behind us. It was all they had. I'm still processing everything that's happened in the last 6 hours. I can't believe we're fugitives. We're not fugitives. We're temporarily displaced persons seeking justice. Despite everything, I almost smile. Is that your official firefighter terminology? That's my official, trying to keep my girlfriend from having a complete breakdown terminology. Girlfriend. Even in the middle of this mess, the word sends warmth through my chest. Lauren opens her laptop on the small table, immediately pulling up news websites. Look, there's got to be something, security cameras, witness testimonies, anything that proves you were somewhere else. I sit beside her, studying the grainy bank footage. The woman does look like me from behind. Same height, similar hair color. This is insane. I was replacing spark plugs on the Cherokee all afternoon. Can anyone verify that? I work alone. That's the whole point of having my own shop. Lauren's fingers fly over the keyboard, searching local news reports. Here, look at this. She points to a timestamp on the security footage. The robbery happened at 3:47 p.m. yesterday. I remember exactly where I was at 3:47. I was cursing at a stripped bolt that wouldn't come loose. That's not exactly an alibi. She keeps searching while I try to make sense of our situation. On the run, sharing a musty motel room, facing charges that could send me to prison. 3 weeks ago, my biggest worry was a difficult engine rebuild. Lauren, you should go back. Tell them I forced you to help me escape. She stops typing and looks at me like I've lost my mind. Are you serious? This isn't your fight. The hell it isn't. She closes the laptop and turns to face me fully. Alexandra, I'm not abandoning you. Not now, not ever. You barely know me. I know enough. Her voice softens. I know you taste like coffee and cinnamon. I know you hum when you're concentrating. I know you've never hurt anyone in your entire life. The certainty in her voice breaks something loose in my chest. Before I can stop myself, I'm crying. Ugly, desperate sobs that shake my whole body. Lauren pulls me against her, holding me tight while I fall apart. It's okay. We're going to figure this out. What if we don't? What if they catch us and you go to prison because of me? Then we'll face it together. She guides me to the bed, and we lie down fully clothed, her arms wrapped around me from behind. The mattress creaks with every movement, and the air conditioning unit coughs sporadically, but I feel safer than I have since this morning. Tell me about the first time you fought a fire, I whisper into the darkness. Her breath is warm against my neck as she speaks. I was 24, training exercise that went wrong when a valve malfunctioned. Suddenly we had a real emergency instead of a drill. Were you scared? Terrified, but scared in a good way, you know? Like every cell in my body was awake for the first time. I turn in her arms to face her. That's how I feel with you. Even now? Even with all this chaos? Especially now. She kisses me then, soft and slow, tasting like truck stop coffee and determination. Her hands find the hem of my shirt, and suddenly the cramped motel room feels charged with electricity. Are you sure? She whispers against my lips. Here, like this? Instead of answering, I pull her closer, my mouth finding hers with desperate hunger. We undress each other with trembling hands, exploring bodies made familiar by one perfect afternoon, but somehow new again, in this strange, uncertain place. When she moves above me, her eyes never leave mine, and I understand that this isn't about escape or distraction. This is about choosing each other, even when everything else is falling apart. Afterward, we lie tangled together, her head on my chest, both of us listening to sirens that might be coming for us or might just be part of the desert night. Alexandra? Yeah? Whatever happens tomorrow, I want you to know this is real. What we have, it's real. I press my lips to the top of her head. I know. It's the most real thing I've ever felt. The gas station attendant barely glances up when we walk in at dawn, but I see him do a double take at the coffee machine. My stomach drops as his eyes move from Lauren to me, then to the small television mounted behind the counter. My own face stares back at me from the screen, alongside a photo of Lauren they must have pulled from her firefighter personnel file. The sound is low, but I can make out the scrolling text. Armed robbery suspects considered dangerous. Shit. Lauren breathes beside me. The attendant's hand moves towards something under the counter. Phone. Or maybe an alarm. Lauren acts before I can even process what's happening. She drops her voice to its most authoritative firefighter tone. Sir, there's been a gas leak reported about 2 miles east. You need to evacuate immediately. A what? He looks confused, hand pausing. Natural gas. Could ignite any second. We're with emergency services. She flashes some kind of official-looking card from her wallet too quickly for him to read. Leave now. Don't turn on any electrical equipment. The man's eyes widen. He abandons the counter and rushes outside, not even locking up behind him. That was brilliant, I whisper, as we quickly grab water bottles and granola bars. That was lying to a civilian about a gas emergency. I could lose my license for that. You already helped a fugitive escape. I think your license is the least of our worries. We're back on the road within minutes, driving deeper into desert country. Lauren knows exactly where she's going, navigating dirt roads that don't appear on any map I've ever seen. There. She points to a cluster of abandoned oil derricks rising from the scrubland like mechanical dinosaurs. I worked this field 5 years ago. It's been dry ever since. The site is eerily quiet, rusted equipment scattered across acres of empty land. Lauren parks behind the largest derrick, hidden from the main road. We can't stay here forever, I say, stepping out into the desert heat. No, but we can think. Plan our next move. She pulls her phone from her pocket. I'm going to call Marcus. Who's Marcus? Cop friend from San Diego. If anyone can help us figure out who really robbed that bank, it's him. While she makes the call, I wander among the abandoned machinery. There's something haunting about this place. All this equipment built to extract wealth from the earth, now left to rust under an endless sky. Lauren finds me sitting on a concrete foundation, staring at the horizon. Good news and bad news, she says, settling beside me. Bad news first. The manhunt has gone statewide. They think we're armed and extremely dangerous. And the good news? Marcus ran your name through the system. You've never even had a speeding ticket. He says there's no way any prosecutor would believe you suddenly decided to rob banks. But that doesn't help us right now. Actually, it does. Lauren takes my hand. He's going to look into similar robberies, see if there's a pattern. Maybe this wasn't random. The sun is setting, painting the desert in shades of orange and red. Despite everything, there's something beautiful about this moment. Just the two of us against the vastness of the landscape. Lauren? Yeah? I need to tell you something. I turn to face her fully. I've never felt as alive as I do right now. Even scared, even running. I feel more like myself than I have in years. Because you're finally living authentically. Because I'm with you. She leans forward and kisses me, soft and lingering. When we break apart, the first stars are appearing overhead. You know what's crazy? She says, her forehead resting against mine. What? 3 weeks ago, I was just going through the motions. Work, sleep, work, sleep. Then I met this stubborn mechanic at an airport. And suddenly, everything changed. I'm not stubborn. You absolutely are. It's one of the things I love about you. Love. She says it so easily now, like it's just a fact of life. The sun rises in the east, water flows downhill. Lauren Lopez loves Alexandra Ward. I love you too, I whisper into the gathering darkness. Whatever happens tomorrow, whatever we're walking into, I love you. Then, we're going to be okay. How can you be so sure? Because love like this doesn't just disappear. It finds a way. Above us, the desert stars shine with a clarity impossible in the city. I've spent my entire adult life playing it safe, following rules, coloring inside the lines. Now I'm a wanted woman sharing stolen kisses with another woman under an endless sky. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Lauren's phone rings at dawn, Marcus calling with news that changes everything. They got him, he says, his voice crackling through the speaker. Real robber was caught trying to hit another bank in Vegas. DNA match, fingerprints, the works. I sink onto the motel bed, feeling like I might pass out from relief. It's over? Not quite, Marcus continues. There's still the matter of you two fleeing arrest. The DA wants to make an example, especially since Lauren helped you escape. What does that mean? Lauren asks, her hand finding mine. Means you better get back here fast and hope for sympathetic prosecutors. The drive back to Oceanside feels like returning from another planet. Everything looks the same, but we're different people than when we left. The radio keeps playing news updates about our capture. Reporters stationed outside my workshop, neighbors giving interviews about the quiet woman who kept to herself. I'm sorry, I tell Lauren as we approach the city limits. I'm sorry you got dragged into this mess. Stop apologizing. You didn't drag me anywhere. I jumped. The police station parking lot swarms with media vans. Lauren parks across the street, and we sit for a moment, watching reporters set up their cameras. Ready? She asks. No, but let's do it anyway. Marcus meets us at the side entrance, ushering us through hallways that smell like disinfectant and bad coffee. The next few hours blur together, statements, paperwork, lawyers appearing from nowhere. The charges against me are dropped completely. Lauren faces potential criminal charges for aiding a fugitive, but her lawyer negotiates it down to community service and probation. You got lucky, the prosecutor tells us as we finally walk free. Next time, trust the system. There won't be a next time, I assure him. Outside, the media circus is waiting. Cameras flash as we push through the crowd, Lauren's arm protective around my shoulders. Someone shouts questions about our relationship, whether we're planning to marry, if we're in love. Lauren stops walking and turns to face the cameras directly. Yes, she says simply, we're in love, and anyone who has a problem with that can kiss my ass. I want to disappear into the ground, but also, I want to kiss her right there in front of everyone. 6 months later, we're standing in my expanded workshop, now officially Ward and Lopez Automotive. The sign outside features both our names in bold letters, and I still get a thrill seeing it every morning. Lauren emerges from under the hood of a vintage Mustang, oil streaking her cheek. Carburetor shot, she announces, but I think we can rebuild it. We? I raise an eyebrow. I'm learning. You're teaching me. It's true. She's proven surprisingly adept with engines, her firefighter training translating well to mechanical problem solving. The dangerous work that defined her for years has been replaced with something quieter, but no less meaningful. Do you miss it? I ask, handing her a clean rag. The fires, the adrenaline? She considers the question seriously. Sometimes. But I've got different thrills now. Like what? Like watching you smile when an engine purrs perfectly. Like building something together instead of just putting out other people's fires. The afternoon sun streams through the hangar doors, illuminating dust motes that dance in the air between us. This is our space now, filled with tools and projects and the comfortable rhythm of shared work. Lauren? Yeah? I have something for you. I reach into my toolbox and pull out a small velvet box. Her eyes widen as I drop to one knee on the concrete floor. Alexandra, what are you doing? Something I should have done weeks ago. I open the box to reveal a simple platinum band. It's not traditional, I know. No diamond, no fancy setting. Just honest metal, like the work we do. Are you proposing to me in a garage? I'm proposing to you in our garage, where we figured out how to build a life together. Tears stream down her face as she drops to her knees in front of me. Yes, you stubborn, beautiful woman. Yes to all of it. The ring fits perfectly, catching the afternoon light as she admires it on her finger. So what now? She asks. Now, we get back to work. We've got 3 more restorations to finish before the end of the month. I meant after that. I stand and pull her up with me, my arms wrapping around her waist. After that, we keep building. One day, one engine, one kiss at a time. She laughs and kisses me deeply, tasting like coffee and possibility and home. 6 months feels like both forever and no time at all when you're building a life with someone. Standing in our expanded hangar on a crisp December morning, I watch Lauren expertly torque bolts on a Cessna engine rebuild. Her movements have the same precision she once brought to fighting fires, but now she's creating instead of controlling destruction. Torque wrench says 35 foot-pounds, she calls out, squinting at the gauge. Trust the tools, not your gut, I remind her, though she's already learned this lesson better than most of my former apprentices. Our business has grown beyond anything I imagined. Word spread about the lesbian mechanics who could resurrect dead aircraft, and apparently the aviation community loves an underdog story. We're booked solid through spring. Alexandra. Lauren straightens up, wiping her hands on her coveralls. What day is it? December 15th. Why? That makes today exactly 11 months since we met at Gate 47. I stop organizing my socket set and look at her. You've been counting? Every damn day. She grins that crooked smile that still makes my stomach flip. And I've been thinking about something. Should I be worried? Maybe. She reaches into her pocket and pulls out an envelope. Happy early birthday. My birthday isn't until February. I know. But this couldn't wait. I open the envelope with greasy fingers, finding 2 tickets inside. Alaska Airlines to San Diego? For New Year's Eve. I booked us that hotel room overlooking the harbor. The one with the big tub you mentioned. Her voice gets softer. Figured we could use a proper honeymoon, even if we're doing things backwards. Honeymoon. The word hits me like a warm wave. Lauren Lopez, are you suggesting we elope? I'm suggesting we stop waiting for the perfect moment and make our own perfect moment. I set down the tickets and move toward her, closing the distance between us in 3 quick steps. What about the courthouse ceremony we planned? Your friends from the fire department? They'll understand. Besides, Marcus is a notary. He can marry us right here if we want. In the hangar? Why not? This is where we figured out how to love each other. She's right, of course. This space holds our entire relationship. First tentative conversations over takeout, stolen kisses between oil changes, the gradual building of trust and partnership, and something deeper than either of us expected. Call Marcus, I say. Really? Really. But I want to do this right. I take her oil-stained hands in mine. Lauren Lopez, will you marry me? Here, now, surrounded by the work we love and the life we've built? I already said yes 6 months ago. Say it again. Yes, Alexandra Ward. Yes to everything. Marcus arrives an hour later with official paperwork and a bemused expression. Most couples plan these things in advance, he says, setting up a makeshift altar between the workbenches. We're not most couples, Lauren replies, changing into the sundress she keeps in her locker for client meetings. I've opted for my best pressed khakis, and the blue button-down Lauren says brings out my eyes. It's not elegant, but it's us. Rings? Marcus asks. We exchanged the simple platinum bands we bought together last week, both already worn smooth from being tried on repeatedly. When Marcus pronounces us married, Lauren kisses me with the same intensity she brought to that first kiss on the pier. Mrs. Ward Lopez, she whispers against my lips. Mrs. Lopez Ward, I correct. We'll figure out the details later. As the sun sets through the hangar doors, casting everything in golden light, I realize this is exactly how our story was supposed to end. Not with grand gestures or perfect planning, but with 2 women choosing each other in the middle of ordinary Tuesday, surrounded by the tools of their trade and the promise of tomorrow. So, what now? Lauren asks, echoing her question from months ago. I gesture toward the half-finished Cessna, the stack of work orders, the life we've built together, one careful piece at a time. Now we get back to work, Mrs. Lopez Ward. Best offer I've had all day. She kisses me again. And I taste coffee and possibility, and the kind of happiness I spent 58 years thinking was reserved for other people. Turns out, I was wrong about that too.